Good morning, all. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Trollman. Is anyone signed up for public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. We do have two individuals who would like to address the commission when we get to item number 11.
Thank you. Moving on agenda item 3, we have no cases to reconsider. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Under agenda item 4, tax liability cases, we have 2 cases on docket 30 and 1 case on docket 31.
Good morning. For the record, Hugh Daniel, Special Program Appeals. That's correct, Chairman Daniel. There are 2 tax liability cases on docket 30 and 1 case on docket 31. The first case number on docket 30 is TD-24-004-0124. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with your recommendation. Grant the employer's motion to withdraw its Rule 13 request.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you. The second case number on docket 30 is TD-24-013-0324. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino.
Agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Rehear to develop the record on whether the workers are subject to direction or control in the performance of their duties.
I'll concur with the chairman.
Okay, we will rehear the case and resubmit it. That concludes the tax liability cases on docket 30. The case number on docket 31 is TD-23-042-1223. Commissioner Esparza.
Agree with staff recommendations.
Commissioner Trevino.
I agree with staff's recommendation.
And Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
All right, thank you. That concludes the tax liability cases on these dockets.
All right. No fair housing cases under agenda item 5, no child labor cases under agenda item 6, under agenda item 7. We have no wage claim cases on dockets 30 or 31 pulled for additional discussion.
Yes, that's correct. No child labor cases or fair housing cases. There are no wage claim cases pulled for either docket 30 or 31. However, you should have received the short form dissent list for both docket 30 and 31.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the wage claim cases on dockets 30 and 31.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting, as reflected on the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 30 and 31.
I concur with the chairman's motion except for the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected in wage claim short form dissent list for dockets 30 and 31.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. We'll move now to agenda item 8 in consideration of unemployment insurance cases. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case 3278145, Commissioner Esparza.
The commission should rehear this case. First, I don't contest the good cause issue concerning the job separation. The claimant was involved in a conflict with a supervisor when he was asked to vacate the employer's premises. Since the employer is offering this witness in their appeal to the commission, and furthermore, since the witness's firsthand testimony could establish work-connected misconduct, the commission should rehear this case to obtain testimony and to clarify the record about the final incident. The claimant established good cause for missing the AT hearing. Please rehear.
The decision is correct. Regarding the good cause issue, the claimant provided credible testimony that he did not receive the AT1 hearing notice. Therefore, the claimant established good cause for his non-appearance. As to the work separation, the claimant took an approved leave of absence for personal reasons. When the claimant returned to the job, he worked for several days before the employer informed him that his position had already been replaced and that the employer no longer had any work for him. Therefore, the claimant was discharged due to lack of work and not for any misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1, no misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3505398, Commissioner Esparza.
The AT decision is not supportable based on evidence currently available. Although the employer's Rule 16 reopened the request was filed late, the employer alleged that the second appeal hearing that it changed its address online at some earlier time. Unfortunately, the employer offered no specific information regarding that address change. However, its appeal to the commission alleges that the employer has a digital image showing the request in question. If that evidence shows a timely address change request, the reopening request should be held timely and the case resubmitted on its merits of timeliness of protest and the chargeback issue. Accordingly, we should hold a rehearing to obtain testimony and evidence concerning the date of the employer's address to change request.
The decision is correct. The AT1 decision was mailed to the employer's correct address of record. The employer testified that their petition to reopen was late because they were not regularly checking the mail at this business location. The employer did not register a different designated mailing address with the commission until the date of the AT2 hearing. Therefore, since the employer did not establish any exception to the timeliness rules, their petition to reopen was properly dismissed as late. Affirm the AT late employer petition to reopen.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3588790, Commissioner Esparza.
The AT decision should be modified. First, the claimant should be deemed to have had good cause for a non-appearance because she is training for a new job during both hearings that she missed. As to the job separation, the claimant was separated from employment due to a miscommunication with the employer regarding leave time and return to work date. However, since these issues stem from the claimant being out on medical leave, the claimant should be qualified for benefits and the employer's account should be protected from charge under the medical separation analysis. We should therefore modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for a non-appearance, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant established good cause for missing the continuance of AT2, as a hearing was informally scheduled, and the complainant received no written notice of the hearing. The claimant also established good cause for missing AT1, as the claimant was training for a new job at the time of the hearing. As to the job separation, the claimant was terminated for job abandonment after her leave request was denied by the employer's third-party administrator. The complainant initially had 10 days to appeal the decision and provide medical documentation, but that deadline was extended by the third-party administrator. On 3/22 of 23, the employer alleged that the claimant was sent a letter notifying her that the leave she requested had been denied and that she needed to return to work no later than 3/29 of 23. The employer did not personally contact the claimant. The claimant never received this letter and was unaware that she needed to return to work. The claimant's leave was approved on 4/5 of 23, but she had already been discharged by the employer for failing to return to work. Since the employer did not personally contact the claimant to inform her that she needed to return to work or she would be discharged, and since the claimant provided the required medical documentation to the leave administrator to support her leave, the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, claimant had good cause for missing AT2 and AT1, no misconduct, chargeback. In the alternative, since the claimant was discharged while obtaining an extension to her medical leave, I would agree to protect the employer's account from chargeback, as her separation was caused by her medically verifiable illness. Modify the AT, claimant had good cause for missing AT2 and AT1, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI.
Claimant established good cause for AT1 and AT2, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI.
I'll
Case-
agree with the chair if I need to.
Commissioner Trevino, did you want a short form dissent?
I believe my alternative vote was in line with the chairman. so
It is.
I'll do that one.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
It's
Yes, ma'am.
unanimous, actually, I think.
Yes, it is. No misconduct.
Case number 3599178, Commissioner Esparza.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The claimant was discharged for failing to take a random drug test. The claimant testified that the employer asked her why she failed to take the drug test. Claimant went on to state that during the meeting with the employer, she informed them that she had used marijuana to alleviate her chronic pain. Claimant further stated that when asked to produce a valid prescription for the use of the THC product, she could not do so. Moreover, claimant admitted that she did not have a valid prescription for a THC product at the time of the job separation. As such, the claimant's failure to take drug test constituted work-connected misconduct. We should therefore affirm the AT decision of misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed.
The AT decision is not correct. The employer discharged the claimant for allegedly refusing to take a drug test. The claimant provided consistent firsthand testimony explaining why she was unable to take a drug test when she was randomly selected to do so. The employer did not provide any testimony regarding the claimant's conduct. Therefore, the employer failed to meet its burden of proving that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
No misconduct, bill the reimbursing employer.
I have
Short
your
form
short
dissent.
Okay, thank you. I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3600-222, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. Regarding the good cause issue, the claimant missed the AT1 hearing due to issues with her phone, which prevented her from being able to hear anything. Therefore, the claimant was prevented from participating in the hearing by circumstances beyond her control and established good cause for her failure to appear at the AT1. As to the job separation, the employer discharged the claimant, a 25-year employee, due to attendance. The claimant's final absences from work were caused by severe health issues, which caused her to get sick in the morning as she was preparing to leave for work. Since the evidence established that the claimant's separation was directly caused by her medically verified illness, she was not discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't contest a good cause issue. Concerning job separation, the claimant was separated when she exceeded the allowable occurrences under the employer's attendance policy. Although the claimant alleged medical concerns for her absences, she did not provide any medical documentation to evidence her need for time off. Moreover, although the claimant was informed of possible accommodations and was advised to talk to HR, the claimant chose not to and continued to violate the employer's rules. Since the claimant was excessively absent in violation of the employer's policy, claimant's conduct constituted misconduct connected with the work. As such, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant established good cause for the AT hearing, for missing the AT hearing, misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed.
Claimant established good cause for AT1, misconduct, reimbursing employer not billed.
Short form dissent. Ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3603-630, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be reversed. The claimant's appeal should be deemed timely, as the determination was misdelivered, and the claimant received the documentation after the deadline. Regarding the job separation, the claimant provided credible and consistent testimony that, following his complaints to the Department of Labor that he had been misclassified, his hours were cut by the employer, and he was told that he could no longer use the employer's vehicle or tools to perform his duties, which had always been provided to him in the past. When the complainant expressed that he could not work without the employer's vehicle or tools, he was told that the employer would accept that as his resignation. The employer did not appear at the hearing to refute the claimant's testimony. Since the employer created the claimant's inability to perform his duties by taking away the tools to perform the work, the employer initiated the job separation, and the claimant's complaints to the Department of Labor do not constitute misconduct connected with the work. Therefore, the weight of the evidence provided established that the claimant was discharged for reasons other than misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, no misconduct, chargeback.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't contest the timeliness of the claimant's appeal. Concerning the job separation, the claimant, through the course of the claim process, consistently changed his narrative and provided conflicting information about the nature of the job separation. As such, the claimant's testimony should be given little credence. On the other hand, the employer provided credible evidence and the claimant stopped reporting for work after he was advised to take a drug test. Since the claimant failed to return to work when continued work was available, the claimant's separation was voluntary and without work-connected good cause. As such, we should modify the AT decision, timely claim and appeal, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Claimant filed a timely appeal, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Would you like the short form dissent? See, I have a,
Ma'am, I'll short form dissent.
thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 3623-462, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant's continued claim involved his work for gig economy, employer, and self-employment. As such, there is no separation from employment, and the continued claim was dated July 1st of 2023, should be voided. Set aside the AT decision, void the continued claim.
We should affirm the AT decision. Claim provided several different reasons for quitting work with the named employer. Since all the reasons were personal in nature, the claimant quit without work-connected good cause. Please affirm the AT decision of voluntary leaving.
Void the continued claim.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Chairman, before we move on to the next one, I'd like to also note that the commission has voted this way on similar prior commission appeals. In order to ensure consistency in the agency's decision, it is appropriate to formalize the principle that after the claimant files an initial claim, a continued claim should not be generated based on work that the claimant performs for a gig economy employer in self-employment. Therefore, I move that we adopt this case as a new precedent to be included in the precedent manual.
In order to adopt a case as a precedent, there will need to be a majority vote of the commissioners.
I tell you what, let's do this. Let's table your motion. Let me look at this in greater detail. I'll look back over what's been going on. And we'll bring your motion back up at a later meeting.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 3625-123, Commissioner Esparza.
Let's read that case number one more time.
3625-123.
Thank you.
Real quick, I'm sorry, going back to 362-3462, I voted a short form dissent.
That's correct.
Okay. All running together right now. Thank you. On 362-5123. Okay, we should grant a rehearing in this case. The claimant was discharged for paying out cash bonuses totaling thousands of dollars without authorization. In its appeal to the commission, the employer submitted an affidavit that the claimant supervisor, which sets out claim malfeasance. Not only did the claimant issue large cash bonuses without authorization, she also took the funds directly from the client's locations and failed to run the monies through the employer's payroll system so that taxes could be paid. These are serious allegations, so we should consider this additional information before rendering our decision in this case. Accordingly, we should rehear this case for admission and review of the employer's additional documents and for testimony of the claimant supervisor.
The decision is correct. The employer alleged that it discharged the claimant for giving out unauthorized bonuses. However, the employer did not present any firsthand evidence to support its allegations of misconduct. The claimant gave credible testimony that she had obtained permission to issue bonuses to employees as an incentive for them to pick up extra shifts and to avoid business shutdowns caused by being short-staffed. Additionally, the employer admitted that the claimant had the authority to issue most of the bonuses that she gave out and never warned her that she was not authorized to give out the remaining bonuses. Therefore, the employer failed to meet its burden of showing that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, valid claim, no misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3628-043, Commissioner Esparza.
We should grant a rehearing in this case. In its appeal to the commission, the employer's third-party representative included a copy of the timely appeal it contends to have submitted. We should rehear this case for admission and review of this document and to allow third-party representative to provide testimony and further proof of its timely appeal on behalf of the employer. Please rehear.
The decision is supportable. The employer's appeal to the initial determination was late. The determination was mailed to the correct address of the employer's third-party representative. The employer provided no evidence regarding whether it was received by the third-party representative, despite being asked if someone from the representative company could attend the hearing. The employer's witness did not allege non-receipt of the determination, and the determination was not returned to the commission as undelivered. Therefore, the employer has not presented credible and persuasive testimony to rebut the presumption of receipt of the determination, and the appeal was properly dismissed as late. Affirm the AT, employer appeal not timely, no misconduct, chargeback.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3628-343, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant filed a claim based on reduced hours due to a reduction in his available weekly hours at his usual assignment. The claimant requested additional hours from the employer, but there was no evidence that the claimant was offered additional work prior to his filing his claim. Therefore, the claimant's reduction in hours was due to a lack of work and not misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response. In the alternative, I would agree to rehear the case to obtain additional evidence regarding whether the employer had any additional work available to the claimant prior to filing his claim, as the claimant testified that he had an audio recording of his supervisor telling him no work was available.
We should modify the AT decision. When the school year ended, the claimant had the opportunity to access and accept assignments that were posted on the employer's online portal. In addition, the employer sent numerous offers of available shifts to the claimant, which the claimant did not accept. Since the claimant could have continued working additional hours, but chose not to accept available shifts, he initiated a job separation without work-connected good cause. We should modify the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case. That was the last case on docket 30. You should have received the short form dissent list for docket 30.
I move to accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 30.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting as reflected in the UI short form dissent list for docket 30.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for this, there are the cases on which I am dissenting as reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 30.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
We'll move to docket 31.
Case number 333-9658, Commissioner Esparza.
We should remand this case to the appeal tribunal. First, I agree that the employer had good cause for its non-appearance. Regarding the timeliness issue, the employer testified about having received the AT1 decision and about its non-receipt of the notice of claim. However, the AT did not establish whether the employer received the determination at issue or why the employer's appeal to the determination was late. I agree with the owner's contention that the AT did not make it clear to him that the TWC document was being referenced during the hearing. Thus, to ensure the process, we should find that the employer had good cause for its non-appearance and remand this case to the appeal tribunal.
The decision is correct. I won't dispute that the employer established good cause for missing AT1. However, the employer's appeal to the initial determination was filed several weeks late, and the employer's testimony did not establish any credible exceptions to the timeliness rules. Therefore, the employer's appeal was properly dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Affirm the AT, employer had good cause for missing AT1, late employer appeal.
I concur with Commissioner Esparza.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I concur with Commissioner Esparza.
Thank you.
Short form dissent.
Thank you. I have your short form dissent.
Thank you.
Case number 3440908, Commissioner Esparza.
We should modify the AT decision. First, I don't contest that the claimant established good cause for missing the AT2 and AT1 hearings. Concerning the timeliness of the claimant's appeal, although the claimant had signed up for electronic correspondence, she did not regularly check her correspondence inbox, which led to her late appeal. Since there are no good cause exceptions to the timeliness rules, we should hold up the claimant's appeal as untimely and leave the initial determination in full force and effect. As such, we should modify the AT decision. Claimant established good cause for missing the AT2 and AT1 hearings. Untimely claimant appeal. Voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
The decision is correct. I agree that the claimant established good cause for missing both AT hearings. Regarding the timeliness issue, regarding the claimant's appeal was filed after the appeal deadline. The claimant is an elderly individual with limited understanding of technology, and she provided credible and persuasive testimony that she was unaware of the process to check her electronic correspondence from the commission, and that she was expecting to receive a letter in the mail about her job separation. She filed an appeal as soon as she learned of the determination. As such, the claimant's appeal was properly deemed timely. As for the job separation, the claimant's assignment ended on 5/27/22, when the claimant was working with was no longer needing her services, and there was no further work available for the claimant to perform during the summer months. Therefore, the claimant's separation was due to lack of work and not for any misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1 and AT2, timely claimant appeal, no misconduct, chargeback.
Timely claimant appeal, claimant established good cause for AT1 and AT2, no misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3542634, Commissioner Esparza.
The commission should rehear this case. First, I don't contest the good cause issue. Concerning the job separation, the claimant quit based on alleged dissatisfaction with the employer's working conditions. Since the final incident was not sufficiently developed, and because the employer is offering a key firsthand witness, along with multiple other witnesses to testify about the final incident, we should rehear this case to obtain testimony and to clarify the record about the claimant's job separation. Claimant established good cause for missing the AT hearing. Rehear.
The AT decision is correct. The claimant established good cause for missing AT1 because she was sick in the morning of the hearing. Regarding the work separation, the evidence presented clearly showed that the claimants repeatedly brought legitimate concerns about her work environment to the employer's attention, but that the employer took no real action to resolve the claimant's concerns. The final incident involved the claimant's supervisor again yelling at her in front of other coworkers. Therefore, the claimant had good cause connected with the work for quitting after her legitimate complaints about working conditions when ignored by management. Affirm the AT, claimant had good cause for AT1, no voluntary leaving, bill reimbursing employer.
Rehear.
We will rehear the case.
Case number 3559628, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant CA appeal should be deemed timely, as the AT2 decision was not mailed to the address of the claimant that the claimant requested it be sent to during the hearing. Regarding the good cause issue, the claimant had good cause for failing to appear at AT1, as he was working his new job on the date and time of the hearing, and he could not afford to take time off from work in order to participate. Therefore, the claimant had good cause for missing AT1. Claimant filed a timely CA appeal, reversed the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, resubmit.
We should find the claimant's CA appeal timely and modify the AT decision. Regarding good cause issue, the claimant admits to receiving the hearing packet. Nonetheless, the claimant did not attend the appeal hearing due to his own confusion. Therefore, the claimant did not have good cause for his non-appearance. As to the underlying job separation, the claimant did not fully comply with the employer's reporting instructions. Claimant was aware of the instructions and was apprised that his unemployment benefits could be denied for non-compliance therewith. As such, the claimant's failure to report back to the employer in the appropriate manner constituted voluntary quit without work-connected good cause. We should therefore find the claimant's CA appeal timely and modify the AT decision. Claimant did not have good cause for her non-appearance, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Claimant filed a timely appeal. Claimant did not establish good cause for AT1, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3564824, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the AT decision. Although the claimant alleged health-related concerns for her resignation, claimant did not request any accommodations nor request an extension of her leave prior to resigning. Since claimant did not allow the employer to reasonable opportunity to remedy her conditions, and moreover, since continued work was available for the claimant, had she not resigned, the claimant's separation was voluntary and without work-connected good cause. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, reimbursing employer not billed.
The AT decision is correct. The claimant separated from employment when she went on approved unpaid medical leave of absence and was never able to return to her job due to her medical condition. Therefore, since the claimant's separation was caused by a medically verified illness, which was not a disqualifying work separation, the employer's reimbursing account should remain billed. Affirm the AT, bill reimbursing employer.
Reimbursing employer not billed.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3568707, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision should be modified. Although the claimant filed a late appeal to the fraud determination, he was out of claim status when the determination was mailed, and he had moved to a new address. Therefore, his appeal should be deemed timely under Commission Rule 32I2. Regarding the fraud issue, the claimant did not willfully fail to disclose material facts to the Commission. Although the claimant was sent the statement of wages and the potential benefit amounts, he had worked for several employers in different states during his base period and did not realize that some of the wages credited to him were the result of someone stealing his identity. He established that he was a victim of identity theft as the IRS removed these wages from the claimant's account on this basis. These factors, along with the claimant's limited education and lack of experience in filing claims, made it clear that he did not have any willful intent to mislead the Commission in order to increase his benefit amount. Therefore, we should modify the AT, timely claimant appeal, no fraud, recalculate overpayment based on the claimant's actual base period wages.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The claimant filed a late appeal. The one-time exception to the appeal deadline for fraud cases does not apply because even though he was out of claim status when the fraud determination was issued, he had not moved from his address of record by that time. The determination was thus sent to his actual correct address. Thus, the claimant's late appeal was properly dismissed by the appeal tribunal. Even if the appeal deadline were to be overlooked, the underlying fraud determination should be affirmed. The claimant received a statement of benefits from TWC that was based on wages that he later claimed not to have earned. The wrong statement of benefits caused his benefits amount to be higher than they should have been. The statement of benefits instructed the claimant to notify TWC promptly if any wages were shown on the statement are wrong, and the claimant failed to do that. There's been no finding of the discrepancy in reported earnings was based on identity fraud or other factor outside of the claimant's control. Accordingly, we should affirm the AT decision. The claimant filed a late appeal, leaving the earnings adjustment, fraud, and overpayment determination in effect. Alternatively, if the claimant's appeal was timely, the earnings adjustment, fraud, and overpayment determinations are supported by the evidence and should be affirmed.
The late appeal falls within a timeliness exception. The claimant received benefits to which he was not entitled due to negligence, not willful misrepresentation, so the fraud forfeiture provisions are not applicable. The earnings adjustment overpayment should be recalculated to reflect the actual benefits the claimant was entitled to based upon his own wages. timely claim and appeal, earnings adjustment overpayment, recalculate that, no fraud forfeiture.
Short form dissent.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3581524, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is correct and should be reaffirmed. The claimant was discharged for insubordination due to a disagreement that occurred with her manager. The claimant's manager yelled at her and used profanity, which created a hostile work environment. The claimant denied the allegations that she refused to perform any of her assigned job tasks or that she was insubordinate. The best available evidence indicates that the employer failed to show that the claimant initiated or escalated the argument, such that her actions amounted to misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
The AT decision should be reversed. The employer testified that during the final incident conversation, the claimant was refusing to perform her assigned duties and was threatening to leave work early before the conclusion of her shift. Per the employer, the claimant began to raise her voice and use expletives. As such, the claimant mismanaged her position of employment and was discharged for work-connected misconduct. Should therefore reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. Also, we should send a memo to investigate any possible severance pay.
Misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. I
Short-
agree to the memo.
I
Short
have
form
your-
dissent, ma'am. Thank you.
I have your short form dissent in your memo.
Case number 3589877, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision should be affirmed. The complainant was told that his schedule was going to be changed and was given several options of new schedules. One which would allow him Sundays off, which he needed for religious reasons. This option, however, increased his daily work hours from 10 hours to 12 hours. Additionally, the employer informed the claimant that he would be changed from hourly pay, which included overtime pay for the 20 hours per of overtime the claimant would regularly work, to commission-based pay, under which the claimant was only guaranteed to earn $500 per week for 60 hours of work. The changes to the claimant's schedule and pay structure were significant and constituted good cause connected with the work for quitting. Affirm the AT, no voluntary leaving, chargeback.
The AT decision should be reversed. Claimant quit after the employer instituted a change in pay structure and schedule. The employer stated that the change in pay could potentially increase the claimant's pay. The claimant quit before trying out the new pay structure to see if he would earn more under the new arrangement. In addition, the employer's change in schedule was reasonable. As such, the claimant quitting the job was without work-connected good cause. We should therefore reverse the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Voluntary leaving, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3597202, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the AT decision concerning good cause. Although the employer requested to reschedule the AT hearing, the hearing officer did not grant the employer's request for the postponement. Since the employer requested a reset due to the unavailability of a key firsthand witness, and since the witness testimony is critical to understanding the nature of the job separation, we should reverse the AT decision. The employer established good cause for missing the AT hearing, resubmit the case for merits testimony.
The AT decision is correct. Despite receiving the hearing notice for the AT1 prior to the hearing, the employer did not timely notify their witness of the scheduled hearing. Therefore, the employer missed the AT1 due to circumstances entirely within their control, and their petition to reopen was properly denied. As to the work separation, the evidence available at the time of the AT1 suggests that the employer discharged the claimant for allegedly conducting personal business while at work. However, there's no real details about this alleged behavior and were provided, and the available evidence indicates that the claimant was never warned that her actions were placing her job in jeopardy prior to her discharge. Therefore, the employer did not meet its burden of showing that the claimant engaged in any misconduct connected with the work. Affirm the AT, employer did not establish good cause for AT1, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
Employer established good cause for AT1, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Case number 3599172, Commissioner Esparza.
We should reverse the AT decision. Although the claimant both acknowledged the employer's attendance policy and signed the written warning, she continued to be absent without providing required documentation for her absence. Moreover, the claimant provided several contradictory statements regarding the reason for her final absence. Thus, her testimony is neither credible nor persuasive. In light of the claimant's contradictory statements, the employer's sworn firsthand testimony and signed written warning are sufficient to overcome the claimant's denial and establish that the claimant was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. Reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. In the alternative, my fellow commissioners do not agree. Since the job separation resulted from medically verifiable illness of the claimant's minor child, claimant should be qualified for benefits and the employer's account should be protected from charge under a medical separation analysis. Modify the AT decision, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI.
The AT decision is correct. The claimant was discharged for attendance issues. The employer discharged the claimant for missing work on 4/27 of 23. On this date, the claimant was unable to show up for work because her daughter was sick. The employer condoned the claimant's previous absences by failing to properly document prior warnings that were allegedly provided to the claimant. Furthermore, these prior warnings that the alleged issue to the claimant, that were allegedly issued to the claimant by the employer showed inconsistent dates, which were not provided to the claimant at the time of the violation and were not signed by the complainant. The claimant also provided a doctor's note, which covered the time period in which the employer alleged the claimant was absent from work. Therefore, the inconsistencies in the evidence provided that the employer failed to establish that the claimant's actions constituted misconduct. And I'll agree with Commissioner Esparza for MVI.
Misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
All right, we have a majority vote for, oh, I'm sorry, one moment.
I'll agree with the chairman on misconduct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. I'll short form dissent. Thank you.
Thank you. I have your short form dissent.
Case number 3599405, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not supportable. I agree that the claimant had good cause for missing AT2, as he was working a new job at the time of the hearing. Also, the claimant established good cause for missing AT1, as he was sick at the time of the hearing. As to the underlying merits, while it's clear that an incorrect last employer was named on the continued claim dated 4/1 of 23, the continued claim itself should be voided, and the claimant was only working irregular as an independent contractor following his initial claims. Therefore, the claimant did not experience any separation from employment upon which to base the continued claim. Modify the AT. Claimant had good cause for AT1 and AT2. Set aside the AT decisions. Void the continued claim.
We should modify the AT decision. No contest on the claimant establishing good cause for his 2 non-appearances. As to the last work issue, the claimant agrees that the incorrect employer was named on the claim. Thus, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for his 2 non-appearances. The claimant named the incorrect last work overpayment. Plus, we should send a memo to correct the LEU on this claim and to investigate the job separation.
Claim established good cause for AT1 and AT2. Incorrect last work, overpayment, memo to correct the last employer and investigate the job separation.
Short form dissent. ma'am.
I have your short form dissent. That was the last case on docket 31. You should have received the short form dissent list for docket 31.
Move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 31.
I second the motion except for those cases which I am dissenting as reflected on UI short form dissent list for docket 31.
I concur with the chairman's motion except for the cases on which I'm dissenting as reflected in UI short form dissent list for docket 31.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted. We'll take a short recess. I understand. Give Mr. Troman the post status meeting. That's a good idea. Mr. Troman, please sit back my meeting. This commission on the actions of another commission.
We'll make them along.
So you get the word commission in the most 5 times. So you can we're able to do that. This agenda item 9, the readoption of the Texas Workforce Commission's ethics policy.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you today? My name is Shana Kelly. I'm an Assistant General Counsel, and I am here today to bring forth the ethics policy readoption for your review and consideration. The last time the Commission reviewed and adopted the ethics policy was January 17th, 2018. Since then, there have been some changes in the law that we needed to update within the ethics policy, and so we've done so. A majority of the changes within there are non-substantive, things like trying to move to more plain English writing to make it more accessible and understandable, removing as many links as possible to just say what we're going to say, and making sure that the information is accurate and correct to match things like the change from RID to FIDCOM. We have 4 substantive changes in there as well. They are as follows. Currently, section 1.9.3 now reflects that the Chief Ethics Officer and Ethics Advisor functions are both within the Office of General Counsel, where the Ethics Advisor was previously within the Regulatory Integrity Division, now FIDCOM, like I mentioned. We removed the lobbyist and lobbying firms from the list of prohibited sources in section 1.11.1 to reflect that the acceptance of benefits from lobbyists and lobbying firms is allowable under limited circumstances. Section 1.11.2.4 was revised to reflect an increase in the threshold amount of expenditures for food, lodging, and entertainment that a lobbyist may provide to an individual public officer, official, or employee before the lobbyist must include the individual's name on the activities report. This amount increased from 114 to 132.60 between 2018 and 2024. The annual cap, however, remains the same at $500. And finally, section 1.13.2 was revised to clarify that candidacy for public office in a partisan election is only a prohibited act if the employee candidate's salary is paid completely from federal funds. This change was made because after the legislative increase in salaries, only 3% of TWC employees are paid fully from federal funds. Are there any questions?
Any comments or questions?
You said your name was Shannon?
Yes, Shana.
This is your first time to present before the?
It is not, no.
It's not, okay, just checking.
Nice try though.
No comments.
No questions, no, sir.
Excellent point, Commissioner Trevino. About how long would you estimate did you work on this project?
I think we started on this about 4 months ago.
Excellent work. Very well done. A useful tool for TWC employees. I hope that they will read it. Any additional comments or questions?
None here.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move we adopt the Texas Workforce Commission Ethics Policy as presented today by staff.
I second ethics.
It's been moved and seconded and vote unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is agenda item 10, publication for public comment, proposed amendments to 40 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 801, Local Workforce Development Boards. Commissioners, if there's not an objection, I would like to push this to the next commission meeting. I will have an amendment. I think that there is an issue that needs to be solved. I actually don't think staff probably went far enough in solving the problem. I need to research the problem a little bit more to be sure I have the language right, because I don't want to nuke a flea on this. But by the same token, I think that there's some more that needs to be done. I need to gain a better understanding of the problem so I can craft a better amendment. If there's an objection to that, we'll hear them out, and I guess we'll vote on it. But I really would like to have 2 more weeks so I can have an amendment ready for you to look at. Any objection to pushing?
No, no objections here.
No objection, Chairman.
Thank you. Sorry about that. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Joel.
Joel.
All right. Does that bring us to item 11? This is Child Care Services rule waivers regarding the Texas Rising Star assessments. We've got 2 public commenters that will speak right after staff, and then so you're gonna need to hang around because we might have some questions.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I'm Lindsay Hill with the Child Care and Early Learning Division. This morning, we're bringing forward waivers of the child care rules, which we are recommending in order to implement temporary strategies intended to expedite the assessment of entry-level designated programs. As you are aware, the legislature enacted legislation which makes Texas Rising Star certification a requirement for CCS providers. These providers receive a 2-year entry-level designation period before they must attain at least a 2-star certification. The legislation and TWC rules also allow TWC to extend this entry-level period for up to 36 months based on specific factors, including extenuating circumstances beyond the provider's control. The first waiver we are recommending is for TWC Rule Section 809.133C1, which requires that the centralized assessment entity conduct an on-site assessment. If approved, TWC will direct the centralized assessment entity to begin conducting desk review assessments of the structural required 2-star measures. We will also allow providers the ability to opt out of this 2-star assessment and wait to receive an on-site assessment of all Texas Rising Star measures. The second waiver that we are requesting is for TWC Rule Section 809.133D, which requires annual monitoring inspections. We are requesting that for the newly assessed entry-level designated programs, they be allowed an annual monitoring visit within 18 months rather than 12 months. We are also asking that you extend a current waiver of this section that was approved on November 7th of last year through September 30th, 2025. We are hopeful that these rule waivers will allow the centralized assessment entity to complete assessments of entry-level designated programs more quickly and allow them to balance their future workload by spreading out the required annual assessments over time. That concludes my presentation.
Any comments or questions?
None here.
Got a question. What's, so there's, the second waiver is an extension. What do we measure to see what happens in that 6 months after? We're giving them 6 more months of time. What are we allowing for there?
Right, so our rule states that they must be monitored annually. So that needs to be conducted within 12 months
Mhm.
of the assessment. What we're saying here is if the centralized assessment entity is conducting a lot of initial assessments in, say, September,
Uh-huh.
they're not going to be able to do those
Gotcha.
on-site annuals in September by their due date. So we're allowing them 6 additional months to complete those annual monitoring
Okay.
visits.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
No.
So the centralized assessment entity in charge of these assessments, have they been letting us know throughout the process that they were going to have trouble covering all the assessments statewide?
Yes, we have been in communication with them weekly, if not monthly, about this and talking through different options and suggestions of how they could implement the assessments faster.
To meet the requirements of entry level and the 2-star designation, what kind of requirements does an on-site review add that a desk review wouldn't be able to ascertain?
The desk review looks at only our structural required measures, which are a lot of the paperwork. It's the parent policies, your employee handbook, your staff education and training. Whereas the on-site assessment will look at the actual classroom environment, as well as the teachers and some other points-based measures related to program administration and staff education and qualifications.
What's the longest timeline you think we would need to have these waivers in effect for them to catch up?
I am not sure. We are hopeful that this waiver will be enough time for them as they are also strategically planning to look at their staffing to help support more assessments being conducted.
Do we know at this point if the centralized assessment entity is adding any additional assessors above where they are so that they can do a better job with this?
Yes, they are continually trying to staff up and employ.
How long is our contract with this centralized assessor? And are there other entities in the state that provide the same type of service?
Our current contract with them is 2 years, so we have just started year 2. And I am not familiar with any other similar entity.
All right, thanks. Hang tight. We've got 2 public commenters. Let's hear from them. There may be additional questions after we hear public comment, and then we'll have to move to a motion after that.
Morning, Commissioners. Les Trubman, General Counsel. We have 2 commenters. Ms. Camargo, if you could unmute yourself and begin.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Cassandra Camargo. I represent Christian Preschool Centers out of the Lubbock, South Plains area. I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to come to you today and speak in regards to the waivers. The waivers I do actually am in agreement with. I'm interested to see how the desk review will work and what exactly that'll entail. Currently the CAE, I believe as of June, had 3,200 assessments still to be completed. And even if they hire in some more assessors, they're looking at about a 6-month training span. So with the waivers being put in place, I think that that'll be a big help to be able to get caught up. So I'm interested to see, like I said, how the desk reviews will work. I do ask that the waivers be granted for providers that are not considered assessment ready, be included in that waiver as well. We have a specific school, actually, Miss Jessica Cabello is going to speak to you in regards of her situation, but she's not deemed assessment ready because she has a pending citation that is in admin review, and so she can't be deemed assessment ready. And so I just ask that that be included in that waiver as well. As far as the waiver being proposed for current TRS providers, I agree with this waiver due to the changes to the TRS measures. This allows providers time to adjust to those measures that are being made as of October. So that's what I have to say today. Thank you for the time allowing me to speak.
Thank you. And our final commenter is Ms. Cabell. Ms. Cabell, if you could unmute yourself and begin.
Can you guys hear me?
We sure can.
All right. Well, hello and good morning. My name is Jessica Cabello, and I am the director at Treehouse Children's Academy. I would like to start off by thanking you for the opportunity to speak in front of you guys and voice my thoughts. I am a newer director, and in the midst of the transition, we were given a citation. After reading over the waiver, I will say I do like the ideals behind the desk review of structural measures. However, with the pending citation and our decision to administrative review, this would hold us back from being set as assessment ready, and that would lead us not to qualify for the desk review of structural measure. With that being said, one of the things that we're also struggling with is that we are being told, yes, you're good to go. Yes, let's do assessment ready. While then being told, hold off, we have to wait. So the timeline of this is elongating the onboarding process for us, which will also affect us with the pending citation. This concludes my statement.
All right, thank you. Is there any additional questions or comment, commissioners?
No, just thank you for the comments from our commenters.
No additional questions.
All right, is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the temporary waivers of requirements contained in 40 Texas Administrative Code, Section 809.133 C1 and 809.133 D to implement the temporary Texas Rising Star two-star strategy as described in the discussion paper and recommended today by staff.
I second.
It's been moved second, motion carries. Thank you. All right, is there an executive director's report today?
No, sir, not today.
Is there any other business come before the commission? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move to adjourn.
I second.
It's been moved second to adjourn. That vote's unanimous and we're adjourned.